So please open your video so that you can record your attendance. So again, please open your video so that we can record your attendance. Hello, Mama Parin. Hello, Angelina. Hello, Angeline. Hello, Chloe. Muhammad Sarin kan? Mau Sami ya, mau Sami. Thank you. 3 orang. Muhammad Emir, Freddy, Muhammad Anish. Any more? Muhammad Hassan, Erika, Farhan. Okay, Muhammad Hassan. So nice to see you online, you know. Feels weird. All right. So Farhan seems to have problem with networking, internet network. Where are you guys exactly? Are you at the hostel?
Yes, sir.
Oh. Are you taking bath already? You all macam belum mandi semua kan?
Dah, sir. Dah.
Sudah? Ada air ke di hostel?
Belum lah. Pagi tadi lah, sir.
Oh, alright. Air dekat tangki ke dibawa pakai kereta?
Air kami simpan dalam baldi.
Oh, reserve, water reserve. Okay. Erika, can you open your video? Okay. So Erika in the class, I think. Are you in the class, Erika?
I'm in Medan Selera, LS.
Oh, Medan Selera. Oh. All right. So I think that should be adequate for the evidence of our online class. So I believe that you are too shy to open your camera. So I will let you, okay, close your camera during my lecture. All right. And I will proceed with the lecture lah ya. Okay. Right. Can you see my slide? Boleh tengok slide
Boleh, sir.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna proceed with our lecture. Remember, you are encouraged to ask questions. Just open your microphone and let me know that you have question. Yeah. Don't make me feel like I'm talking to myself. Okay. So semua kena tanya soalan. Yeah. Respond to my lecture. Yeah. Make me feel like we have two-way communication here, yeah, all right? Okay, so last week, I believe we stopped at this particular slide, yeah, types of intersection count, yeah? This one is like the one that you did for your traffic volume study, except that you are doing for three-leg intersection, simpang tiga, eh? And this one is simpang empat, eh? Four-leg intersection. The purpose is similar. You can use your data just like we have here, and can use this one to design traffic light, determine the size of a roundabout, and so on and so forth. Eh? Okay, then traffic count to hourly volume characteristic. As you can see here, the blue line is for weekday, and the red line is for weekend. So you can see that for weekday we have two distinct peak, which is a peak hour, yeah, on morning and evening. And for the weekend, it can be peak hour during the midday, and also on the evening. Yeah, the pattern can be differ based on type of road. Yeah, and this one for daily volume for a week. Yeah, and as you can see, zone A and zone B can be different. Depends on type of road. And annually volume characteristic, just to see the increment of traffic volume. Yeah. So this is how we determine how many percent increment of traffic volume year by year. Yeah. Right. Then you already did the traffic volume. Sorry. Then you determine the peak hour. And from that counting, you may get this peak hour factor. Yeah. So the formula for peak hour factor is equal to peak hour volume, which is on that particular peak hour. Yeah. Peak hour volume. Then divide by 4, because there are 4 sorry. There are 4 15 minutes, 4 consecutive 15 minutes in 1 hour. Then times by maximum 15 minutes volume. Yeah? And peak hour factor is mainly used for urban area. A, highway design, for example, highway classification, number of lanes, signalization. Then B, traffic management, example, capacity analysis. Sorry. So this is an example. How do you determine the peak hour? First, you determine the hourly volume, yeah, which is you determine the peak hour, one particular hour. Yeah? In this case, example is from 8 to 9, 9 a.m. Then B, the peak rate of flow within the hour. So the peak rate of flow within this hour is this one, the highest volume, okay, 165. Then you may proceed with the calculation for peak hour factor. Remember the formula is this one, formula, the peak hour factor. So peak hour volume, which is all these values, all right, 150 plus 155 plus 165 plus 160. So that equal to peak hour volume. And divide by 4, okay, times by the maximum 15 minute volume is 165. And so that is how you get the peak hour factor. Yeah, so it's very easy. All right, move on. For level of service, the LOS of existing highway may be evaluated by comparing measured traffic volume to the capacity of that facilities. Each road has its own capacity depending on first, speed, second, travel time, third, safety, and fourth, traffic interruption. Yeah. And level of service is equal to volume divided by capacity. Yeah. And this is an example of level service for freeway. As you can see, level service A, all right. It has very few cars. You can move freely, okay, with good speed. Then level service B, the number of car increase and the speed, of course, will be a little bit decreased. And then level C, the car keep on increasing. D, E until F. So F is, as you can see, it is a traffic jam. Okay. So in terms of relationship to operating speed and flow, on y-axis is the speed and on x-axis is the flow. Yeah. So speed versus flow. So for level service A is called free flow. Level service B and C is stable flow. Level service D is approaching unstable flow. Level service E unstable flow, and level of service F is forced flow, yeah, traffic jam. Okay. So relationship to operating speed and flow based on, as you can see, we are using arahan teknik jalan, H slash from ATJ 8/86. Yeah? So level service A is a free flow with low volume, densities, and high speed. Drivers can maintain their desired speed with little or no delay. So the keyword adalah no delay. No delay. Then level service B is stable flow. Operating speed beginning to be restricted somewhat by traffic condition, some slight delay. So the keyword stable flow and some slight delay. The level service C, stable flow, speeds and maneuverability are more closely controlled by higher volumes, acceptable delay. So the keyword stable flow and acceptable delay. Yeah. Then next one, level service D, approaching unstable flow, tolerable operating speeds, which are considerably affected by operating condition, tolerable delay. So keyword, approaching unstable flow and tolerable delay. Okay. Then next one, level of service E, unstable flow, yet lower operating speed, and perhaps stoppages of momentary duration. Volumes are at or near capacity congestion and intolerable delay. So the keyword unstable flow and intolerable delay. Yeah. And last one is level service F. Okay. Forced flow, speeds and volume can drop to zero. Stoppages can occur for long periods. Queues or vehicles backing up from a restriction downstream. So keyword is force flow and restriction downstream, right? So remember the keyword, okay? I found out question asking for description for level service A until F appear 3 or 4 times over the past 5 years. Yeah. Right. Move on. So level of service, relationship to operating speed and flow. As you can see, level of service A, free flow, okay, low volume and no delay. Level of service B, stable flow, speed restricted by travel condition, minor delay. Level of service C, stable flow, speeds and maneuverability closely controlled because of higher volume. Level service D, stable flow, speed considerably affected by change in operation condition. High density traffic restricted, maneuverability, volume near capacity. Level service E, unstable flow, low speeds, considerable delay, volume at or slightly over capacity. And level of service F, forced flow, very low speeds, volumes exceed capacity, long delays with stop and go traffic. Okay, right. So we are done with okay, we're done with topic of lecture week 4, and so now we should proceed with topic of lecture week 5. All right. So please open your notes for chapter 3, road geometric design, lecture for topic 5. And again, I would like to remind you, please write down something, especially keywords or something that not in the notes. Okay, and you can use that for doing your revision. Yeah. All right. So are you ready? Should I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So chapter outline. Okay. First is on a chapter overview, then followed by side distance. Side distance is the length that you need to see ahead. You know, you need to see ahead, especially before the intersection, before you overtake, and so on and so forth. Then number 3, horizontal and vertical curve. Okay, horizontal curve is the curve that let you turn to the left and turn to the right. And vertical curve is the curve that you use to height or ascend and descend. Number 4, road cross-sectional element. So this one is depends on class of road. All right. Number 5, road furnitures. For example, traffic light, signboard, um, street light, road marking, and so on. Yeah. Number 6, highway drainage. So drainage is very important. We don't want our road to be flooded, because water as well as flood will affecting the performance of our road. Okay. In terms of COPO, as usual, we are covering CO1 and PO1, similar to other lectures. Yeah? In fact, all our lecture is covering CO1 and PO1. All right. So, number 2, side distance. Learning outcome. At the end of the lesson, students should be able to calculate stopping and passing side distance. Okay? As you can see here, there are 2 elements in stopping side distance. First is decision time or decision distance. Then second is action distance or action time. Yeah. Okay. Introduction to side distance. This is one of the geometric design, dimensions and arrangements of highway features that affect the highway operation, safety, and capacity. So goal to provide safe, efficient, and economical road and highway system. So features to be considered in geometry design of road. Okay, first is the topography, right? Then second is design vehicle. Okay, so remember for expressway, for example, we should let all types of vehicle or all design vehicle to be able to use that particular road compared to R4, R3, and R2, and so on. Yeah. Then, of course, we also consider design hourly volume, right? We should let how many car should be able to use that road. And so we design how many lane should be possible to accommodate that number of vehicles. Yeah? Then, of course, design speed. So design speed, it depends on type of road. Yeah. Access control also depends on type of control. For example, for expressway is called full access control. Again, you remember we already covered this lecture in chapter 1. Yeah? Then, of course, environmental. Certain place like in Cameron Highland or Genting Highland, known to have caboose. Yeah. All right. Aspect considered in geometric road design. Okay, A is function, serve as inland linkage between location for moving people and goods. B, safety, design with safety characteristic. C, comfort, design and built for comfort riding and driving quality. D, economic, in terms of construction and vehicles operating costs. And E, aesthetic, must be built as an element of the existing environment. Remember, there are five aspects considered in geometric road design. Okay, so sight distance, jarak pandangan ya. Definition, length of highway visibility ahead to the driver of a vehicle. Example of road physical appearance as seen from various angles. Yeah? As you can see, different shape of road will affecting your sight distance or your ability to see ahead, jarak pandangan. Okay. So application of sight distance design, A, to ensure the safety elements are included in the geometry design. Okay, as you can see here on one particular intersection, should be able to let the sight distance. You can see to your left and to your right, and so if there's a tree, you must not plant the tree too near to the intersection. Otherwise, that will blocking the sight distance. Yeah, the same goes for the building. Shouldn't be too near to the intersection. Yeah. Then B, to determine the location of warning or reminder system to the driver. This means you will using a sight distance to determine the location of the signboard. It cannot be too close to the intersection, and cannot be too far from the intersection. Yeah. So the location, the distance of the signboard from the intersection is based on sight distance. Okay. So sight distance. First is a stopping sight distance. Remember, there are two types of sight distance. First is stopping sight distance. Second is passing sight distance. Yeah. So for stopping sight distance, or SSD, is minimum distance required to stop the vehicle at or near the design speed before it reaches an object in its path. That is, stopping sight distance equal to D1 plus D2, which is mean there are two elements in stopping sight distance. Yeah. So first one is element called perception reaction time. So this one is distance travel from the time the object is sighted to the brake applied. So this one is D1. D1. The formula for D1 is equal to 0.278 times by V times by T. Yeah. V is design speed. The unit is kilometer per hour. T is perception reaction time. Unit is in second. So please take note on the unit, because when you use this formula, the value of D will automatically become in meter. Yeah? In meter. So please take note. Then second element, D2 is braking reaction time. Okay. So braking reaction time is distance required for stopping vehicle after the brakes apply. This one is D2. The formula is V square, okay, divided by 254 F. Yeah. So again, V is design speed, unit in kilometer per hour, and F is friction, unitless, because this one is actually coefficient. And when you are using this formula, D2 will be in unit meter. All right, please take note on that. Okay, move on. Example 3.1, stopping sight distance. Minimum stopping sight distance depends on the total perception reaction distance and braking distance. given design speed of 110 km per hour, coefficient of the friction between tires and pavement is 0.28 and perception reaction time of 2.5 seconds. Calculate the minimum stopping sight distance. So again, the formula D1 and D2. Stopping sight distance is D1 plus D2. And also given V equal to 110 km per hour, F equal to 0.28, and T equal to 2.5 seconds. So substitute into the equation. D1 is 0.278 times by 110 times by 2.5 equal to 76.45 meter. So please write down the unit here so that you don't forget the unit. Okay, D1 must be in unit meter. Yeah. Next one, D2 equal to V square, which is 110 square divided by 254 times by F. F is 0.28. So equal to 170.13 meter. So again, remember the unit in meter. Yeah. And so stopping sight distance is equal to D1 plus D2 equal to 246.58 meter. So this is the answer. It's very easy. Yeah. Right. Next one. Same example. Yeah. Example 3.2, stopping sight distance. A simple carriageway is to be designed with design speed of 80 km per hour. A driver is traveling at design speed, spotted an object on the road 200 meters ahead and managed to stop just in time. Taking the standard perception reaction time of 2.5 seconds, determine the coefficient of friction between tires and pavement. So in this case, the question is asking for coefficient of friction, right? Given V equal to 80 km per hour, T 2.5 seconds, stopping sight distance is already given, yeah, equal to 200 meter. So what is the value of F, coefficient of friction, F? So again, the formula D1 and D2. So substitute into the formula D1, 0.278 times by 80 times by 2.5 equal to 55.6 meter, right? Then D2 is V square, 80 kilometer, 80 square, yeah, divided by 254 times by M. And so, all right, substitute, okay, stopping sight distance is given as 200 meter. And so from this calculation, we get F equal to 0.175 or 17.4%, yeah, 17.4%. Sometimes the question is asking for value in percentage. So it is equal to 17.4%. Okay. Move on to sight distance too, but this one is second type of sight distance. The first one is on stopping sight distance. So this one is on overtaking sight distance. Yeah. So overtaking sight distance is passing sight distance when the distance is long enough to enable the vehicle to overtake and pass another vehicle in front without interference. So overtaking sight distance equal to D1 plus D2 plus D3 plus D4. So that means there are 4 components in overtaking sight distance. Yeah? So D1 is distance based on time taken while driver decide whether to pass the vehicle in front or not. D2, distance based on time taken to carry out the actual passing movement. D3, safety dimension between overtaking vehicle and oncoming vehicle. And D4, distance based on time taken by overtaking vehicle to move at design speed while actual overtaking takes place. So again, please memorize this formula. Overtaking side distance equal to D1 plus D2 plus D3 and plus D4. Okay, the formula, yeah. Overtaking side distance equal to D1 plus D2 plus D3 plus D4. Okay, and D1 is equal to VI times by small t. D2 is VI times by capital T. D3 equal to 2S and D4 equal to VP times by capital T. And S is equal to, okay, memorize this formula, yeah, equal to, in bracket, 0.7 VI, okay, close the bracket, and plus 6. And capital T equal to square root 4S divided by A. And VI is impeded vehicle. Unit, please take note, unit must be in meter per second, yeah. VP is passing vehicle, passing yang memotong, ya. And unit is in meter per second. T is time and A is acceleration. Unit for A is in meter per second square, ya. So the diagram for this overtaking side distance. Okay, first one D1, this D1, yeah. Then followed by D2. This one is D2, yeah. Then next one is D3. Okay, this one is D3. And last one D4, yeah. All right. Example, yeah. Example 3.3, overtaking side distance. A taxi traveling at a speed of 100 km per hour overtakes a bus traveling at 70 km per hour. If the acceleration of the taxi is 2.3 meter per second square and the time taken, t equal to 3 seconds, determine the safe overtaking side distance. Yeah. So this is the speed for the passing vehicle. Yeah. Then this is the speed for the impeded vehicle. Yeah. And then acceleration A is 2.3 meter per second square. T 3 seconds. Yeah. So VP, the passing vehicle. Yeah. P is passing. Yeah. So VP equal to 100 km per hour. And remember, it must be converted to meter per second. So equal to 27.78. Then VI is impeded vehicle. Speed is 70 km per hour. So convert to meter per second equal to 19.44 meter per second. Okay. So from the formula, overtaking side distance equal to D1 plus D2 plus D3 plus D4. D1 VI times by T. Again, remember, memorize this formula. D2 VI times by capital T. D3 2S. And D4 is VP times by capital T. And S is from formula, yeah, 0.7 VI, okay, plus 6. And T is square root 4S divided by A. Okay, so S, yeah, 0.7 times by VI. VI is 19.44, and then plus 6 equal to 19.61. Then substitute into this formula T, yeah, equal to 4S divided by A, so equal to 5.84. Then substitute into the formula, okay, D1 is VI times by small t. Then D2 is VI times by capital T. D3 is 2S, okay, and D4 equal to VP times by capital T. Right? And so we get overtaking side distance equal to 373.3 meter. So again, please take note, overtaking side distance is provided for two lane both way, because we must provide a straight road, a straight and level road. Okay, in this case with this distance 373.3 meter, so that vehicle at the back be able to overtake vehicle at the front. Yeah, and this overtaking side distance is no need for 4-lane both way or for 2-lane one way, because if it is a 2-lane one way, the first lane is for the slow lane, second lane is for the fast lane, and the fast lane is used for the overtaking lane. So that's why for 2-lane one way, no need for overtaking side distance. And again, overtaking side distance is required for 2-lane both ways road. Ya, untuk jalan yang dua lorong, untuk dua arah. Ya, okay. Please take note on that. Tuliskan so that you don't forget. Ya. Right. Move on to horizontal alignment and vertical curve. Yeah. Learning outcome. At the end of the lesson, students should be able to calculate horizontal alignment. So in this picture, you can see example of horizontal alignment. Yeah. Remember, we provide horizontal alignment to provide the change of direction, which means turn to the left or turn to the right. Yeah. Or in this case, like this picture, we provided this horizontal alignment due to the type of terrain. Yeah? We cannot make a straight road on this hilly terrain. Okay, otherwise it will be may cost us too much. You know, we have to have a lot of earthwork. So a lot of earthwork means the cost will be increased. So instead of we provide a straight road, we should provide it like this one with horizontal alignment. Yeah. Okay, move on. Horizontal alignment. If a road bend is required, what is the shape and the radius of the bend? Okay. So 4 criteria for curve design. First is design speed. So, you know, it depends on class of the road. Yeah. Then second is lateral friction. So the coefficient is F. And number 3, super elevation coefficient is E. And number 4, centrifugal ratio. So centrifugal ratio is P, centrifugal force, divided by W, weight of the vehicle. Okay. Remember 4 criteria for curve design. Yeah. So this is an example of the curve design. Okay. Remember, in the case of a flyover, flyover on the intersection, we design the curve, okay, based on, you know, there are 4 criteria. The first one, design speed, which is mean we must consider the class of the road. Yeah, right. So physical properties of a horizontal alignment, right? So this is the horizontal alignment. As you can see, as a curve, it got radius as well as the angle theta of the curve. Yeah. So when you see it on this side, in this example, the car is turned to the left. Yeah, turned to the left, and as you can see, okay, on this part, on the inner side is lower, and on the outer side or on the right hand side is increased. Okay, so this is the shape of the road on the curve, and this shape is called super elevation. Yeah, super elevation. Right. So the formula, remember, you got to memorize this formula. This is formula for horizontal alignment. So of course we need to know the radius. Yeah, radius of the curve equal to, you know, V, design speed. Remember, the first criteria to determine the curve is the design speed. Then E is super elevation. Yeah, okay, super elevation, this shape, right? And F is the road surface friction. Yeah? Right. So centrifugal force acting on the curve, okay, act horizontally outward through the center of gravity of the vehicle. So that one is centrifugal force. Yeah? So centrifugal ratio is P over W. And two effects from centrifugal force could be overturned, okay, could be overturned like this, and or it could be skidding, yeah, tergelincir. So these are two effects of centrifugal force on vehicle on the curb, yeah. So horizontal alignment could be overturned or skidding laterally, yeah, skidding macam ni, yeah. Okay. So moment is equal to P times by H. H is the height. So kalau H is decreased, then the moment will be decreased too, kan? And restoration moment is W times by B divided by 2. Thus, PH or centrifugal force tadi kan times by height equal to W, okay, times by B divided by 2. So B is width of the car. All right. So centrifugal ratio P divided by W equal to B divided by 2H. Okay. And if the centrifugal ratio more or equal than B divided by 2H, could be a danger of overturning and skidding. So we are about to creating formula so that we can avoid overturning and skidding. Yeah. All right. So the key to this formula is super elevation. Yeah. In order to counteract the effect of centrifugal force, hence reduce the tendency of skidding laterally or overturning, the outer edge of pavement is raised with respect to the inner edge. Outer edge di luar naik with respect to the inner edge. Maksud the inner edge itu turun, di luar naik. Also known as super elevation. So this is the figure of a car with all 11 forces. So P is centrifugal force. W is weight of vehicle. R is radius of the circular curve. V is the speed of the vehicle. G is acceleration due to the gravity. And F is side friction factor. Okay. So on horizontal alignment, this force is we convert it into parallel again. For the y-axis, so P, P on this case is on the green one, So F W cos alpha plus W sine alpha. So P cos on the P is W sine alpha plus F W cos alpha. And this one is equal to this force lah, force W V square over GR times by cos alpha. Cos alpha. All right. So this equation is divided by W cos alpha, meaning that this one is divided by W cos alpha. So leaving this one, W potong, all right. Then cos alpha potong, tinggal yang ni. Tinggal ni. V square over GR. And then W sine alpha divided by W cos alpha. So potong W sine alpha over cos alpha equal to tangent alpha. Remember, sine over cos is equal to tangent. And this one, W cos alpha potong, tinggal F. And so leaving the formula like this. Remember, tangent alpha is equal to super elevation, angle on this one. So tangent alpha is equal to E, super elevation. That's why tangent alpha, this one tadi, tangent alpha ni is equal to E. Alright. And so R equal to V square over G, times in bracket E plus F. this is the formula, yeah. And we need to change G. G is gravitational force, whereby G is equal to 9.81 meter per second. And also convert all this from meter per second to kilometer per hour. That's why the equation become this one, yeah. V square over 127 R equal to E plus F. Okay. And again, from the research found out that balances 40% of the centrifugal ratio. Yeah. So E divided by E plus F equal to 40% or 0.4. Yeah. And practical consideration, E provided due to 75% of the design speed and neglect F. And degree of supervision up to 0.06 for urban road. Maksud dia ada maximum, maximum value. For urban road, maximum 6% or 0.06. Yeah. Okay, so this is from ATJ 8/86. Okay, ada maximum. For urban road, maximum 6% or 0.06. And for rural road, maximum is 0.1 or 10%. Yeah. So as you can see, when the design speed decrease, the minimum radius will also decrease. So that is the reason why our road at Kampong, which is class of the road R2, R1, has a small radius of curve compared to higher class of road like R5, R6. Yeah, so this is the reason. It is due to the design speed as well as the superelevation. Okay, so longitudinal slope of the pavement edge compared to the center line. Center line tengah jalan. Center line tengah jalan. So this one is on left-hand side and this one is on right-hand side. So for undivided road or undivided highway, ini tengah jalan. In this case, the road is turned to the right. So if it is turned to the right, okay, we will increase the height on left-hand side and decrease the height on right-hand side. So how much is increase and decrease is depend on super elevation. And remember, the maximum super elevation for rural road is 10%, ya, maximum, tak boleh, ya, tak boleh besar sangat. And for divided highway, so this is the divider tengah-tengah jalan, ya. You know, for expressway we have divider kan dekat tengah-tengah. So this one is on the left hand side. As you can see, if it is a turn to the right, so on the left is increase and on the right is decrease. So this is the super elevation for divided highway. Yeah. Okay. Example 3.2. 3.4. A curving roadway has a design speed of 100 km per hour. At one horizontal curve, the super elevation has been set at 6%, and the coefficient of road surface friction is found to be 0.1. Determine the minimum radius of the curve that will provide safe vehicle operation. So formula, remember, you got to memorize this formula. V square over 177 R equal to E plus F. Okay. And given from the question, design speed is 100 km per hour. E is 6%. F is 0.1. So how much is the value of R? Okay. So from the formula, we need to find the value of R. And substitute. Okay. V is 100. V square, and E is 0.06 and F is 0.1, and so R is 492.1 meter, 13 meter. So this is the radius of this curve. Yeah. All right. Second example, example 3.5. What is the recommended super elevation rate? Would be for a roadway with design speed 110 km per hour and a radius of curvature of 500 meter. Its balances are estimated to be 40% of the centrifugal ratio. So again, this is the formula, but this question is also talking about balances 40% of the centrifugal ratio. Yeah, right. So given design speed 110 km per hour and radius in this case is already provided. So the question is asking to how the value, how much is the value of super elevation, and also remember provided balances 40% the centrifugal ratio, which is referring to this formula. Yeah, okay. But the question is asking for value of E, right? And in this case, okay, E plus F equal to E divided by 0.4, okay, because 0.4 is 40%, yeah. So substitute into this formula, okay. E plus F, remember E plus F on this part, this would be square, all right, over 40%, okay, this one, yeah. E plus F, remember E plus F is this one, okay. So on the formula again, E plus Y, E plus, this one is E plus F, so equal to V square over 127 R, okay. This is E plus F, okay. And so substitute V 110, okay, R 500, and so we get E, okay, E equal to 0.076 or 7.6%. So please take note. Sometimes the question is asking for value of super elevation in percentage. So this is the value, yeah, 7.6%. Yeah. Okay. Another example 3.6. A simple circular curve of a single carriageway is to be designed with design speed of 80 km per hour. The super elevation E on the circular curve is 0.06. Calculate the radius of curve. Its balances are estimated to be 40% of the centrifugal ratio. So sama juga, ya, the formula, okay, and given V equal to 80 km per hour, E, okay, provided 0.06. So the question is asking for how much is the value of radius, and also provided to, yeah, balances 40% of the centrifugal ratio. Okay. So in this case, E plus F, okay, equal to E. Okay, this one is E. Okay, the 40%. So E plus F is equal to 0.5. Okay, so E plus F on this one is equal to 0.15. So substitute into the formula. Okay, V80, okay, and R, E plus F here is 0.15. So we get R equal to 335.96 meter. Okay, all right. So I think we should stop at this particular slide, and we should proceed with we should proceed with our tutorial lah, yeah. Are you still there, guys? Oh, Farhan ada, Angelina ada, Muhammad Emir ada, Muhammad Hasan ada. Yang lain, Erika, Muhammad Syami ada, Loklowi ada. Erika aja dah hilang kan? Okay, I think that should be all for now. Yeah, should minimize your usage of internet data. And we should proceed with our tutorial by using WhatsApp as our platform. Okay, so next week we will continue with this slide. Please remind me on this particular slide, so that I can remember exactly where we are stopping. Okay, so that's it, guys. Thank you for your cooperation. I will post the tutorial in our WhatsApp group later. Okay, so that's it. Bye bye.
Bye, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Right.
sir.
Thank you, sir.